he just obviously knew that meant I'd been f***ing about, and he was like, I'm going to call the police.
Did he?
Yeah, but they didn't. They said I could never come back in. No. But I did go. That was years and years ago. I think the evolution in sound was just something that just kind of felt really natural to us, really, because we'd been playing the first record for, we wrote that, it was our first months of being a group, first months of touring. It was kind of a reflection of what we were doing and very much our live kind of show and where we were. And I suppose like all garage bands really, I mean if you look at bands like The Seeds or maybe the Music Machine to a certain degree, but a lot of those groups, of course 2 years later they sounded completely different. And we don't want to get stuck in 1966 as groups would have evolved into something more psychedelic quite naturally then. I mean, in a strange, removed sense, the psychedelic side of things is still just as inspirational, and we kind of evolved along like that in a kind of weird way. But then at the same time, it's kind of like Josh was never really a part of that scene. Josh was always completely obsessed with Sonic Youth and My Bloody Valentine and The Birthday Party. And
you can kind of see that in the first record. You can see the mad birthday party influence and just the love of the tonal things, which does fit in really nicely with the garage stuff. That's probably why. That's why it was the way it was. It wasn't. I don't know. I always get really confused. We don't sound like the Black. First one didn't sound like the Black Lips. It wasn't a garage record.
The switch to bass happened when we were writing, basically, over the summer last year. We just kind of decided, going back into the studio, that rather than kind of being limited by the instruments we were using before, and we kind of knew as well that the Continental organ, which I was using, the Vox, wasn't going to play as major a part in the sound that we were kind of playing around with. We just kind of thought it would be nice to open it up to kind of just play different instruments, really, because I think every personality obviously attacks their instrument in a different way, and as a result would play a completely different part. Yeah, we get a lot of kind of, you sound a bit like Joy Division now, which
I don't really understand.
We don't really agree with. We do really like Joy Division, but I think, yeah, I think it's just too easy. Again, it's kind of like, it's just too easy just to say, oh, you sound a bit like this, or you sound a bit like that.
I think it's just worded really badly. I think you should say, this makes me feel like I'm listening to this band, as opposed to they sound like this band, because that's a false statement. That's wrong, normally. And let's just go, when I listen to it, it makes me feel like I'm listening to this band. I think that's a much better way of looking at, that's how I look at music.
I already have the record illegally. My question is towards that. I don't know, how do you feel about just that whole universe? I guess it's a really broad question.
Everyone downloads music for free. Kids nowadays think music is free. They don't think it should cost anything. But more people are going to live shows, so the bands are making back the money that way. But engineers work on points, like how many record sales there are. And nowadays, if you're a really great engineer, you won't be able to afford a living, which is really a f***ing shame. It's not just the bands, it goes down to so many people who can't afford to live just because people won't pay for music. Yeah, it's just a very weird way of thinking. That it's like bands owe people music. Yeah, is there any benefit of having CDs at all, or having music instantly? It's a bit, I don't know.
It's just greedy, really, isn't it?
I mean, you wouldn't say Christmas is coming up. You wouldn't give all your kids presents in October and be like, you can have them now. F it, have them now. Yeah, great. Do you like that? And it kind of just spoils it just spoils everything, doesn't it? I mean, all the vinyl collectors would be really smug when everyone's CDs, a lot of them they'll just go in 30 years and they won't be readable anymore. Everyone's hard drives will have crashed, they won't have been backed up, they've lost all their MP3s. My records will still be sitting there, they'll be fine and they'll still play well.
Rooms full of records, everyone's like, oh, I've got it all on my iPod, but oh, great.
And then you see in the next week, oh, I lost it.
And when I told her I didn't love her anymore,